have a new month. It's November. It's Thanksgiving month. Don't rush into Christmas. Let's enjoy Thanksgiving month. I love this. This month's theme is the divine bounty. And today's talk is the abundant harvest. And that's what this time of the year is about. It's about being grateful of the good that we already have and resonating with that in thanksgiving and delight. So I wanted to start this talk with a real reality check. Anybody in the room have $2,200? Anybody? Anybody have that in their bank account anywhere? In their assets? $2,200? If you have, you are in the top 50% of the wealthiest people on earth. Did you make $1,500 last year? Anybody make $1,500 last year? You are in the top 20% of the world's wealthiest people. Do you have food? Do you have more than one thing to wear? Is there clothes in your closet? Do you live in a house or an apartment? Do you have any means of transportation at all that you own? Then you are in the top 15% of the world's wealthiest people. Does anybody in this room have $51,000 in assets? Your home, your car, your clothes, your stereo. $50,000 in assets? You are in the top 10% of the world's wealthiest people. Do you earn $25,000 a year or more? Anybody earn $25,000 a year or more? You are in the top 10% of the world's wealthiest people. If you have any money at all in a savings account, if you have a hobby that requires some kind of equipment that you purchased, if you have a variety of clothes in your closet, if your family has 2 cars in any condition whatsoever, if you live in your own home, you are in the top 5% of the wealthiest people in the world. If you earn $50,000 or more, I won't look and you don't have to raise your hand. If you earn $50,000 a year or more, you are in the top 1% of the world's wealthiest people on earth. Interesting, isn't it? We are in such a first world bubble. We don't realize just how abundant we are. We do not realize just how affluent we are. I did a workshop last month called Harvesting Our Good. And one of the exercises we did in that workshop was I handed out a list, a page, numbers 1 to 100. And on it, we were supposed to write the things we're grateful for. And, you know, it's one of those exercises that starts slow, but it picks up steam, you know, and pretty soon you're writing and 100 things. Boy, you can think of 100 things like that. It is so easy when we look around that there is just so much to be grateful for. You know, we came up with things like sunsets and flowers, paved roads, indoor plumbing, the fire department. I mean, just think about it, clean sheets. Oh, we came up with so many things, transportation, food, all kinds of things. We are so blessed. We are so abundant. We have our needs met. We have our wants and we have our desires met, and Spirit fills it all in, and it is up to us to accept that divine bounty. So what happens? Here we are, you know, living in this abundant country and being that top 1% or 5% wealthiest people on the earth. So maybe you're not on the Forbes list, but so what? We have so much good around us. What happens? How is it we get caught up in the cycle of lack and limitation? How do we give that any power at all when we can look around us and see the lavish, wasteful abundance that Spirit just flows on us all the time? In this thing called You, Ernest Holmes said this. He said, "It is certain that you cannot believe in abundance while identifying yourself with lack. You cannot believe in abundance while identifying yourself with lack. Forget the lack, think only abundance." That's so easy. You are never limited by the principle of your being. Limitation is a result of the limited use of the principle. You can come to but one conclusion. There is something which honors your belief, not in a big way in one place and in a little way in another place, but rather it honors your belief in it totally. So we are the only ones that limit spirit. We are the only ones that limit the expression of good in our lives. The abundant harvest is ours to claim, but we sit in the shadows and we bemoan the darkness. We turn from the divine givingness of life, of the universe, and we claim our lack, or we claim our hard circumstances, or we blame our genes or our parents or the government or the job or whatever, anything, but take responsibility for our own place in it, for our own limited use of this principle, which is just that. It is a principle. Spirit does not deny us anything, but it is up to us to claim that divine inheritance. And so please don't get me wrong. This is not a talk about money. This is to talk about the abundant nature of spirit. This is a talk about the quality of God known as abundance expressing fully and freely in our lives. God gives us the keys to the kingdom. Are we accepting? Are we saying yes to our good all the time, or are we turning away going, oh, no, thanks. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. I'm not whatever. Fill in the blank. You know, they're saying that there's no keys to success. I love that. There is no keys to success, but guess what? The door's not locked, you know? You don't need a key. We have to decide for ourselves whether we're going to focus on the good or focus on the lack. Are we going to focus on the good or are we going to focus on the want? Ernest Holmes talked a little bit about fasting as a spiritual practice, and he said this, I thought it was very interesting. He said, perhaps true fasting is a determination no longer to entertain negative thought. Perhaps it means to be continually affirming our good. The act of physical fasting is merely a symbol of inward grace. The need for the symbol disappears when you understand the meaning. It is a good practice to fast, so far as negatives are concerned, and feast on affirmations alone. Feast on affirmations alone. Why not fast from the idea of lack and feast on the idea of abundance? So that's our practice this month. That's what we're here to do. It is our task to be immersed in the attitude of gratitude. And this is a great month for it, the Thanksgiving month. If we really believe and embody the idea of an abundant universe, then what we need to do is allow it to express through us. We allow it to express through us. We live in a world where there is more than enough. Spirit is forever giving to its creations. Why? Because Spirit creates. That's what it does. It creates and it creates and it creates. It creates new forms, new planets, new galaxies. The universe is expanding. New species are forever appearing and old ones are dying away. The universe is forever creating. That's what it does. God knows nothing of lack. God knows no lack. God is abundance and balance and beauty and freedom and joy, love, order, peace, power, unity, wholeness, wisdom. Those are the qualities of God. You didn't hear any lack in there. No lack, no limitation. Spirit is not limited in any way. We limit our use of it. We limit our use of the principle. God cannot be limited in any way, or else it wouldn't be a principle. I don't know about you, but I think that I have learned enough from suffering. Are you with me? I have learned enough from lack and limitation and want. I don't think we need to learn from the ow in growth anymore. Ernest Holmes, in the basic ideas of Science of Mind, he said this. He said, get all the happiness and satisfaction you can out of every dollar you spend. If you're paying rent or buying clothes or buying food, anything, you are using your money to get what you would rather have than the money that's in your hand, or else you wouldn't be buying it. Be glad about it. Be glad about it. Never, never, ever hand over your money in payment for anything grudgingly. The habit of silently blessing our money as we hand it over is worth cultivating. Blessing our money when we hand it over is worth cultivating. Then it carries with it an intangible value that will bring good back. We live in that cycle of giving and receiving. And he goes on to say, learn to bless your bills as you pay them. They indicate the good you have already received, and it expresses the faith that others have in you to pay them back. What a joy. What a wonderful thing that is. Who writes down there on the memo line of their checks? Oh, does anybody write checks anymore? Probably not. Everybody does everything online. But if you write checks, if you pay the gas bill or the electric bill or something down in that memo line, you write GIMS, God is my source. That's what I do whenever I write out a check in the memo line. GIMS, God is my source. Yes, you do. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, GIMS, God is my source. Or GIMS, God is my source. Whenever you pay a bill, because you're not getting the money from your boss or your job or your work. You might think you are, but you're not. It's coming from Spirit. Ultimately, all your good is coming from Spirit. So in that memo line, you remind yourself, God is my source, or GIMSS, God is my source and supply. And you hold your bills and you bless your bills as you put them in the mailbox or you send them on their way. You're blessed because you're paying them. We experience limits as nothing more than the quality of God known as abundance, filtering through our own ability to receive and our own ability to demonstrate. We are the ones that put the brakes on this. We're the ones that build the wall in the flow of giving and receiving. You know, I love the way they have the one hand is open to receive and then the other hand is open to give. Giving and receiving. And we put ourselves in the flow of that. We receive mightily and we pass on and we give mightily. And it's about being in that flow of giving and receiving. We can have as much good as we can embody and demonstrate. No matter how much the universe is willing to pour down on us, we must be available to say yes. We must be available to say yes. We must hold our cup of acceptance. And so what size cup you holding? You got a thimble? You have a 55-gallon drum? Is there a tanker, coming down your river of abundance? What is it you're holding? How big is our mental equivalent of the good we can receive? There is this wonderful prayer, this affirmative prayer Ernest Holmes wrote in Creative Ideas. Does Paul have the book? He might have the book in the Resource Center. I don't know. Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. This is his affirmative prayer. I am living in the continual expectancy that every good thing in my life experience shall be multiplied. There is neither doubt nor uncertainty in my mind. I know that the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. I have complete confidence in this Spirit and its action as my experience. I affirm today is filled with blessing for myself and others. The past is gone, and I gladly lose it and let it go. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. Gratefully, I accept of the divine love and givingness, and I extend them to everyone I meet. I am made whole with the wholeness of Spirit. I am guided into right action and successful accomplishment of all of my good desires. This I accept, this I experience. What a powerful, powerful affirmative prayer that is. And I just so happen to have copies if you want them for yourself. You can just pass those down if you want. That is an incredibly powerful affirmative prayer. Hang it up in your bathroom. Hang it, in your car. You can place it wherever you'd like. This is our guide. This affirmative prayer that Ernest Holmes wrote for us, this is our guide to how to live our life, how to cultivate that feeling, that attitude of gratitude, that abundance mentality, that mental equivalent that we have to grow. We need to grow as big as that affirmative prayer is. And I want to talk about that prayer line by line because it is so important. It is so deep and so meaningful. He said in the first line, I am living in the continual expectancy that every good thing in my experience shall be multiplied. Do we? Do we? Do we live in that? Do we live in continual expectancy? Or do you start to worry? Do you start to wonder? Do you start to doubt? Do you get mopey when the bills come a little faster than the income? Not only does my good come to me, but it gets multiplied. Ernest Holmes said it. We need that. The next line, there is neither doubt nor uncertainty in my mind. Oh, yeah? I have to tell you, sometimes I suffer doubt. Sometimes I wonder what God is thinking. And why God's not showing up in my bank book. Sometimes I really wonder, hello, have you forgotten? We live in an abundant universe, so pass some over. Wondering where God went and wondering when God's coming back means we have moved out of the flow. God hasn't moved anywhere. God is abundant. God is omnipresent. We're the ones that are feeling left out. It is our mental equivalent that needs to be enlarged. I know, third line, I know that the Spirit of God has made me and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. Okay, I got this one. I know I'm an outpicturing of Spirit. I know the same for you. I know that God is having an experience as you. That God has chosen to take form in this lifetime as you. I get it. I know it. I honestly believe, and I do not doubt, God is breathing my breath and God is beating my heart. Got that one handled. How about you? Do you know it? Do you feel it? Do you embody it? Do you believe it? Do you demonstrate it when you walk through your life? I'm a representative of God and company. That's the truth of who I am. Next line. I have complete confidence in this Spirit and its action in my experience. I have complete confidence in this Spirit and its action in my experience. Wow. Well, maybe. Sometimes I know I have done prayer. And what's our fifth step? Release. Yes. And did you ever do that and you release it and then, about a half hour later, aren't you back? Digging it up, wondering where the hell's, I'm sorry. Well, what's taking so long? It's not on my time, it's on God's time, right? If Spirit would just get on the ball, and if I ran the world, breathe, breathe, breathe. Do I trust that Spirit is at work in my life and that it is outpicturing as my experience? Oh, yeah. And do I forget? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And when a lot of nothing happens, what do? I go back to prayer. I go back to prayer. I go back to prayer. Because it's not about God saying yes to some things and no to others. It's about God's timing. And what we have to always remember, that God's delay is not God's denial. God's delay is not God's denial. The next line, I affirm that today is filled with blessings for myself and others. Can we want for ourselves, can we desire for ourselves anything that we wouldn't desire for everybody else on earth? No. I am cool with blessing myself, and I'm cool with blessing all those people I like and I love. What about those people we're not really that fond of? Bless them, bless them, bless them anyway. And when someone has a demonstration of amazing good, what do you say? Yay! What else do you say? That's for me. Absolutely. That's for me. When someone has an amazing manifestation of good in their lives, that's for me. That's for me. We cannot have for ourselves what we would not bless others having. That's why we don't begrudge gifts, and that's why we do say that's for me. And there's no place for jealousy or envy in those statements, do you see? Because there is one life, it's God's life, so your good is my good. You succeed, it is my success. We are one in this world, and we are demonstrating individually that one life of God's. Your good is my good, and I celebrate it every day. Where am I? I lost my place. I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. The past is gone. The past is gone, and I gladly lose it and let it go. The present is filled with peace and joy, and the future with hope. Now, this is a real important part of this affirmative prayer, because if you are holding on to things of the past, where are you? You're in the past. You're in the past. You can't demonstrate your good in the present if you're holding on to the grudges of the past. If you're in the past, if you're holding someone else in the past, if you've got somebody locked, in the jail of unskilled behavior of the past, guess what? You're the warden. And you're back there with them, and you're the one holding the key. You cannot be free to live powerfully in the present moment if you're back in the past holding some grudge, holding someone guilty for behavior. You've got to let it go. You've got to let it go, and that is also part of being in the flow of giving and receiving. You've got to release the past so you can fully embrace the present, so you can look forward to the future with hope. You have to release so you can embrace, releasing and embracing. This moment in time, right here, right now, this is all we've got. The past is gone. The future has not happened. If you find yourself in regret in your mind, you're in the past. If you find yourself in worry, you're in the future. This moment is filled with all the air you need to breathe. This moment, your heart is beating and you're not even paying attention to it or not. At this moment, your digestive system is digesting the breakfast you have and you're not even concerned with it. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to fret whether or not it's working. It's going on all by itself. You're blinking at a certain rate. You're swallowing. You're not thinking about any of those things. You're right here in this present moment. Your life is perfect. It is perfect. And in this moment, it's perfect. And in this moment, it's perfect. And in this moment, it's perfect. Are we breathing? Is our heart beating? Are we thinking? Are we loving? Are we feeling? This moment is perfect. We are blessed right here, right now, in this moment. The next line, gratefully I accept the divine love and givingness and extend them to everyone I meet. I love this. This is so empowering. Ernest Holmes always said this. He said, a stranger is just a friend I haven't met yet. He loved people. And he loved meeting them wherever they were. And he loved holding them up and knowing the truth for them, whether or not they knew it. Whether they were on the skids or whether they were in the highest positions of power in this country, he met everybody as a friend he hadn't met yet. I so admire that. I so desire that. I want to be that. I want to meet everyone with that sense of equanimity, that sense of love, and that sense of compassion. That everybody I meet is just a friend I haven't met yet. What a powerful statement. The next line, I am made whole with the wholeness of spirit. I am made whole with the wholeness of spirit. What a great affirmation. Because we already are that. We already are that. We have been made whole simply by being, because Spirit sought to make us. We are made whole, perfect, and complete. It is up to us to remember that. We're not our aches, and we're not our pains, and we're not our broken leg, and we're not our high blood pressure, and we're not any of those things. Our bodies might be doing those things. But within us is that seed of perfection that's nestled in there, and that is whole, perfect, and complete. We are lacking nothing, lacking nothing. I don't have to burden myself with trying. I need to surrender to that spirit inside of me and allow it to precede me and allow it to walk out in front of me and be me in the world. Next line, I am guided to right action and successful accomplishment of all my good desires. All the good that God is mine. I pray that God's good flows in those unending torrents into my experience. Spirit withholds nothing. I am guided by right action. I am heir to the good of the universe. I go within and I know what the right next thing to do is because I'm guided by Spirit. Next lines. This I accept. That might be the tough part. This I accept. This I experience. Powerful, powerful words. The abundant harvest is ours. It is ours. Spirit is forever giving to its creations, and we are that. The abundant harvest is already given. Use this affirmation. Use this affirmative prayer. Use this practical spirituality Ernest Holmes gave us to develop that mental equivalent, to grow that mental equivalent this month and reside right there. Reside in that divine bounty. Because that harvest, that abundant harvest is already ours. Thank you so much.